Hi guys, there was a bit of talk about this little backlight tester on the forum a couple of weeks ago. This all the way from China with change from a tenner. I actually unwrapped it a couple of days ago and I started doing a film, but the camera messed up and I lost all the footage. Just gone to do another film today and it doesn't work. The green light comes on when you press the on-off button. It doesn't change to red and doesn't produce any voltages. I've just noticed that there's this socket here it's just the ground socket is loose. When this first arrived, I had the crop clip just fall off the end of the cable. It hadn't been soldered at all. I've soldered it on now obviously, but it hadn't even been crimped around the insulation. So yeah, the crop cable the crop clip just fell straight off. I have to say, when I was using it the other day, it did work perfectly, but I've just come to use it now for the forum video, and yeah, nothing at all. So it looks like I'm going to have to crack this open. I was going to do that anyway, but and I'll show you the problem. Apart from this being loose, let me just turn the camera down a bit. If I plug in my 12-volt supply, you'll see the green light come on. But when we press this, that should go red, and yeah, nothing. Yeah, not impressed. So perhaps I've been unlucky. Just going to take this apart and have a closer look and see if we can see what's gone on. Back later. Okay, just used one of my little spudgers to crack this open. The loose earth connection there is just because the nut inside is loose, so I can tighten that up. The on-off switch in there, and two colour LED just held in place with a bit of, well, you have a look. I mean, it's no surprise it's a bit of a lash up. That's the main board. I don't know what the tape's on there for, but that's coming off, and you can see that they've just tried to insulate the tip from the rest of the stuff just by slinging a bit of silicone on it. God, yeah, utter tat. It's a shame, it worked perfectly the other day, so I'm going to have to pull this apart a bit further, see if I can work out what's gone on. But yeah, it's not really very impressive, is it? Back later. Right, I've just been having a little fiddle with this. There's certainly no problem with the actual switch working, that's not the issue. After having a little poke around, it suddenly seems to be working again. I didn't spot this a minute ago. I don't know if you can see the end there. The metal of the probe tip is through there, and the only thing that's shielding that from everything else is this little bit of plastic sheet. That's yeah, quite amusing. So I'm just going to plug this in bits and see if we can just get this to fire up again, and you'll see it in action if nothing else. Just going to put the ground on there. We've got two 12-volt transformers here, one with a quite flexible long lead, which is only 1 amp, and then the other one which is much thicker, not so flexible lead, and it's quite short, but I just wanted to see if there was any difference. So we'll just plug that in there. what you should do is just press and hold this for a second and the light will go red, and that's when it's producing the voltage. Yeah, so we're back to square one again. With it not working, I don't know whether we've just got a dodgy connection somewhere. I did have it working a minute ago, but now it's stopped again. Rubbish. Yeah, don't know. I was going to take the board out and have a look at the joints underneath here, but as you can see, the only thing holding it in place is the silicon sealant. But it looks like I'm going to have to pull it out because it will not now fire up. Definitely not having it. So it looks like I'm going to have to pull this out. I will actually try the other power supply just in case there's something silly going on. No, just not having it. I don't know why that is. Right, looks like I'm going to have to take this board out after all, so back later. Yeah, I've just pulled that out, can't see anything, certainly no bad joints on there, so I'm just going to have to check all the components one by one. The little IC there does not appear to be marked in any way. It doesn't look like it's been, you know, scraped off, but I certainly can't see anything. I'll have to have a look at it under the mantis, but yeah, back later. Right, just wanted you to see how it's supposed to work. For no particular reason, it's just started to work. I haven't actually done anything yet apart from poke around, but yeah, you should just be able to press and hold the on-off switch just for a few seconds. And there you go, you'll see it's gone red. So that is now producing a high voltage, and then just a press and hold and it goes green. I really don't know whether I've got a bad joint or what's going on here. It's really weird. Oh dear. Yeah, see, now I can't get it to... Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, you know what, unless this is user error and I'm just pressing the button for too long, and it really just needs to be for, you know, like 2 seconds or so. Yeah, now it seems more reliable. Yeah, maybe it's a couple of seconds, you know, it's quite fussy on that perhaps. Yeah, well look, I'm just going to put this back together again and I'll then show it to you in action if it behaves itself. But yeah, you can see what you're getting for your tenor. But, you know, it did work perfectly okay the other day. So I'm just going to box this back up again and we'll put it through some tests. So back in a minute. Right, I've just temporarily taped this up again just to, well, because the clips are all broken now, I'm going to have to super glue it back together again, or just leave it with the tape round, which I shall do for the moment. I've tightened up the little nut that was loose on the earth connection, and I don't know whether it was just me. I suspect it wasn't just me. I still think there's some sort of issue with this, but it is now appears to work normally. So yeah, normal use. You're just going to plug in the earth connection or ground connection and connect it to the chassis of the panel. You can then pop in your 12 volt rail, and you do need just to press that for a second or two and let go, and you can see it's red, it's live. And although it doesn't look red looking at the LCD screen of the camcorder, but it is red, and I'm sure it shows red for you, but it doesn't look it to me. A couple of seconds, back to green. So easiest thing to do is just pop it onto there, press there, and as you can see, you probably can't see the whole panel, but actually I'll try and do this with one hand, and I'll just pan up a bit. There, you can see that it's evenly lit all the way across. I'm just going to turn this off a second. Now it's off. Try the next connection, and bang. Of course you can move this across live, but you're going to get some sparking and some ozone. I'll do that now. Come off of that, back onto the other one. Bit of hissing and sparking. Yeah. There you go. So no issues there. Of course you can test normal CCFLs out of the panel. It's a little bit more tricky. You just need to connect up the crock to one end, and then just try and pop the probe on and fire it up. But yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do. I'll just lay that across the, there we go, and then just fire this up, hopefully. There you go. And that is evenly lit all around this C-shaped CCFL. That's that one. And this one, just put the crock on one end. And then with this, you can just hold it on there and fire it up. There you go. So yeah, it seems to work perfectly okay. I don't know what the problem was. Whoops, it's just broken the end off that. No, it doesn't. It's just slipped off. I don't know what the problem was I originally had, but yeah, it's back to working perfectly okay again now. As I said before, if you've bought one of these or you're buying one of these, check that this crock clip is soldered on properly. Mine just fell off. The earth cable is a little bit loose. You could probably easily find that being pulled out. So you can just, if you've got a very, very fine blade, I can't get that to focus for you. Yeah, with a fine blade you could probably just retension the springs, well, not springs, but you know, the little bits of metal, just tension them out a little bit, and that will probably grip a little bit better. Doesn't seem to make any difference what power the transformer is. I noticed on the eBay listing for this that it did say it can fire 2 tubes together. I've tried that by connecting 2 of these together and 2 of these together, and it certainly can't do that. It's only happy for me doing one at a time. I did notice something odd the other day when I was messing around with this. I'd connected the crock clip to one end of this lamp, and I had forgotten to turn off this tester. Let me see if I can do the same thing again now. So we've got one end ground to the ground, and if I just fire this up, yeah, you can see that the lamp lights just at just at that end. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, I love these things. I think they're great. The CCFL, they do some really weird things. But yeah, that stinks of ozone. We'll just connect that other end up. We get full brightness there. So, for 10, well, actually it was less than 10. It was slightly less than 10 quid. I don't think that's too bad. Okay, its construction's poor, but what did you expect for a tenner? I think that would be quite useful. I've already made up the other tester from an old inverter, but yeah, it's just a quick look at it. I think this Tierra and Alimentación is probably Spanish, isn't it? Indicador on there. Don't know why they would have made it up into Spanish, but whatever. No, it works fine. Just got to remember this this button seems to be a bit odd. Needs a couple of seconds press and a couple of seconds to go off. Oh, here we go again. Yeah, I don't know. Is it? It just seems to be a bit picky. A simple on-off switch would have been easier, wouldn't it? I think, rather than this press and hold for a second feature. I can't get it on. There we go. I don't know. Don't see any reason why we couldn't recommend this to any of the forum members at that price. You can't really go wrong, can you? So yeah, all right. I mean, this gets a thumbs up, just. But I would have preferred this button to have worked more reliably than as you expected it to do. Yeah, okay. Just thought somebody might want a quick look at that. I'll probably super glue this back up together again and yeah, put it into use in the workshop. The lead is, I don't think I've got the tape measure out here, but I think it was about, let's just see if I can find a tape measure. There we go, I did measure this on the first video that messed up. So from the crop clip to the end is, this workshop's cold and the cable's a bit stiff, and well, that's 48 inches at least. Let me go to the end there. Yeah, okay. I'm saying that's 49 inches from this bit here to the crop clip tip. So that's going to cover most sets that you would have in the workshop, I think. I don't get the advert where it says we'll fire up 2 tubes simultaneously, because it certainly doesn't for me. I'm not sure what configuration they would be talking about. Perhaps somebody else that's got one of these can advise us further on that. But yeah, well worth a tenner. It took about 8 to 10 days, I think. I'll have to look it up on my eBay account, but yeah, 8 to 10 days, not bad, all the way from China. Catch you later. Whilst I was thinking about it, it wouldn't have hurt just to show everybody the Zippy, which I think came out a few years ago. Was expensive at the time and is still as expensive now. This comes from Charles Hyde. The retail price is, I think, £118. Trade price is obviously going to be less than that, but it's still expensive, in my opinion, for what it is. You have a green light that's there when the unit is switched on. There is a red LED if it detects any sort of fail in the tube or the connection's not made. It's in a box section aluminium case, which is quite nice, although I'm never particularly impressed with metal cases when we're dealing with the higher voltages, just in case you do something stupid. Input is 12 volts there. I can't remember whether this came with a power supply or not. I know it makes a difference the ampage of the power supplies you use. The bigger the better, really helps fire some of the bigger bigger tubes. This one you have two large crock clips, so you can put them onto the tube, and you also have other leads here, so you can make a direct connection to the panel. There are, I think we got 3 adapters. That's one of them, the one that's fitted already, and there's another one here with a resistor built in. There are plenty more listed on the Charles Hyde website. None of them are in stock. I suppose if you needed to, you could just order them, but you know, for the price, I mean, it really is expensive. It works great, but far too expensive. I'm just going to plug this in. Might as well have a look at this. So you pop the power in there. When it's on, if you just turned it on now, you will get the green light, and you'll also get the red light, fail light showing. That is producing voltage now, so I'm just going to turn that off. And then if we just quickly connect the crocks to this C-shaped CCFL, and then just turn that on. Now you'll see that the actually you can't see, let me just pan down. You'll see the green light is on, the red light is off, so there's no issues there. I can't remember a time where I've had this red fail come up without the fault being completely obvious. Again, perhaps some other members can tell us more about that and see if they've had a fail come up for other reasons. You know, maybe excess current. I don't know. I don't know what triggers that fail light, but I do know it's triggered when there is no connection like that. Hopefully you can see that, but it is lit. So yeah, that's just a quick add-on, just a quick look at the Zippy. Very nice, just too expensive. I'm lost for words as to what to say really, but it's nice to support companies in the UK wherever possible. This isn't made in the UK, I'm quite sure of that. I haven't ever pulled this apart, got no intentions of doing that. It seems pointless. I don't use it too often now, as I've built the tester out of an old inverter board, and also now we've got this cheap one from China at less than a tenner. It kind of makes this obsolete in my opinion, but there you go. Can't afford to pay out 80 odd quid when you can get it for £8-9 from China. Right, so with the phone interrupting, I'll call it a day. Catch you later.